It's been great to see the development of the show and see how well they connect all the dots that they left open throughout the whole story, and then connect finally. Like for example, the third episode that everyone would say that was trash, they finally connected now in this episode. Connected also with the pirates that happened to appear in episode 1. All of that is developing perfectly in some sort of way to show the main picture of what the season is trying to show us. So let's go to the review of the 5th episode, so don't forget to leave a like, don't forget to subscribe, and let's go with this video. We saw first the High Magister working in Navarro, and it is interesting at least to see the details of how his work. Like, he's literally the president and the mayor of the small town that exists in this planet, and it seems like there's only this town in this huge ass planet. As I said, the show has the ability of connecting all these dots and making all plausible. They brought back the pirates that attacked Djarin in the first episode, and they just cowardly attacked the city, and that makes the High Magister to do something that I was not expecting. For example, I thought he was just gonna call Mando, solve everything, end of the story. But as I said, they need to connect all the dots and to present a better story, so they called the New Republic. But by the time that they called them, you already figured it out that probably they were not gonna do anything, because as he said in the beginning of the show, Navarro is not a part of the Republic system, so they are not a priority for them. And Captain Carson, who is the rebellion who received the message, went directly to the headquarters of the New Republic to try to help Navarro, because it is a planet that he had relationships with, also with the High Magister and Mando as well. And as he's receiving this news, something amazing happens, because one of my favorite characters of the Rebels TV show appears, because we already see Bo-Katan, who appeared in the show. But we also now saw Zeb. If you're not familiar with Rebels, I would highly recommend you to watch it. I did not finish the show yet, but it is fantastic, and they just scripted him to physical effects so well, and him appearing, of course, as a reference, because he just appears there, and I hope that he appears maybe at some point in the show, or maybe in the Ahsoka Tano one. As he enters the room, Republic headquarters, that lady who you remember was working as a person who is now being reformed as a former Empire worker, and now is working as an official. You remember her name was Kane, and as we saw in the third episode, who messed up that doctor's mind, who was working as a spy as well. And they're making a conversation that you can see that the captain realized that she was a person who previously worked in the Empire, and you see that clash of ideologies that they have. But the guy who was working at this higher position, his supervisor, he was actually par with the ideologies that she has. So we kind of see this construct that we have, that the New Republic is so different than the Empire, and they are very different, even though they still have these procedures that the democracy needs to have, their bureaucracy, and of course these mistakes that sometimes happen. And of course he had the theory that the Empire was working with those pirates, and we see that this is kind of taking a new turn of events on the show. And then the obvious thing that I was expecting happens finally when he goes to find Mando. But as he was doing that, I was thinking, like, how does he know where he is? And he found out quickly, like, how did he do that? And in the smartest way possible, he found out Mando because he tracked his signal by the astromech bot that he uses, which worked for the Republic, so he has the records. And of course, all of the Mandalorians almost murdered him because he found out the secret there. But as everything is resolved, the only problem is that Mando can go with the planet, Bo-Katan, yes, but it's not gonna be easy. So they need the help of all the Mandalorians that are available on that planet. But the guy who was actually the group of the Mandalorians, the father of the kid that was rescued in the last episode, at first he was skeptical about them helping Navarro, because in the past they fought against the High Magister, who at the time was the leader of the Guild of the Hunters. But as I said, they connected the dots perfectly in this episode, because he now trusts Mando and Bo-Katan so vividly because of how they have to rescue his son and how they were able to unite all their people again. Because of that, he makes the difficult choice of reuniting all those Mandalorians to fight against the pirates. And you can see is the discrepancy between the Mandalorians and those pirates, because they are all well organized. They were all well prepared to deal with these battles, even though it was difficult in some areas. And what helped them a lot was basically Mando, because his ability to pilot this ship is just unmatched. He defeated multiples and multiples of ships with his ships of the Old Republic. Is amazing, but he has the skills and abilities to do so. Bo-Katan, after the Mandalorians reach out to the surface of the planet, even has the skills to pilot against through all of that, and them using the mothership as a bait and making it possible for the Mandalorians to go to the city without interruption from the mothership and just kill all of those pairs. You see how trained they are, you see the strategies that they use, the skill level. And you can finally understand why the Empire slaughtered them all with no mercy, because if they united, like for example, just like the Jedis, they will be an unbeatable army. And then after defeating all of them, you just see this beautiful image with it. Again, outstanding job. The fact that the mothership just falls through the sky in the flame ball, that's just amusing to see. And of course all the fighting scenes of the ships shooting against the mothership. I think they used the CGI in almost all of those episodes with ease, like heavy ones, and that is making me love this show so much more. And after in the battle, he managed to remember that he had a deal with Mando, and he gave some part of the huge land that Navarro had to the Mandalorians so they could leave him. And at the end of the episode, two really important things happened. One of them was Bo-Katan being now named the person who's gonna unite all the creeds of Mandalore, because as the Forger told her, she walks and moves among everyone who follows the creed very harshly, and for the people who follow different paths. And uniting them will make them more powerful army to deal with the hard things that the future might have brought to them, because they want to conquer Mandalore again, and to do that, they will probably need to face all the things that it makes them impossible. So to do so, probably so they need to unite themselves as one to face all of that. But as I think that she won't do it alone, because she will have to have Mando's help, basically because he has the Darksaber, or unless she steals the Darksaber for him, I think it's not gonna happen. They need to unite to do that. And of course they have the same or standard, so there's gonna be an easy talk, and let's see what they're gonna do in the next episode. I'm not sure, but they'll probably follow, for example, the old group that Bo-Katan had in the second season, and they'll follow up, searching up in the galaxy for other Mandalorians too. Of course, the end of the episode opens also to the space for what's going to be the next challenges that they're gonna face. Mainly when they saw those ship that I just vividly remember of the Star Wars Episode 6, where they had this white ship that mainly the Emperor Darth Vader used, and in Rogue One we saw that was the Lambda ship, this specific ship to take a prisoner. In that case, this was the ship that they found out that they were, after using different kinds of scans and investigation, which was very interesting to see a ship like an X-Wing doing that in space. It was the ship that was carrying Gideon, so it showed he never went to trial, and you saw that probably the High Republic has something to do with it, besides someone has information, because this was a very important task, that was a very important criminal that they needed to prosecute. They didn't do it, somehow they just threw it under the table and then carried on. Like, there's something behind it that we kind of don't understand now, but I think it will all correlate to something. I think the season, it's going to that path, and it's already looking clear for some people, and something that was a little bit confusing. The third episode is getting a little clearer in this one, and the next week we'll probably have some things to look up to finally understand what's going on. So thank you guys so much for this review. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel. Leave a like, subscribe, it helps out a lot, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So goodbye and peace.